Hi KentCov Kids, Mr. Kevin here. This month we're talking about Gideon's story from the Bible. His people, they were not doing so well. The Israelites had 7 constant, tough years living under the control of the Midianites. They would work to farm crops, and the Midianites would just swoop in and take it all, smashing the land and making it even harder to grow crops there. They'd raise sheep and cattle, and the Midianites would swoop in and take all the livestock. They had to go live in caves just to stay alive. And so the Israelites, they were sad. They felt like God had abandoned them, even though the reason they were in this mess is because they had started to do bad things, like bowing down to false gods and not following God's commandments for them. But God didn't turn his back on his people. Nope. They finally realized they needed God again, and they asked for help. And God set things in motion. So, here was Gideon. He's a farmer. He's so afraid of the Midianites that he's hiding while harvesting wheat. He knows he can't fight back if they try and take it. And suddenly, whoom, wah, an angel of the Lord shows up and greets him and tells him that God is with him. The angel calls him a mighty warrior. And Gideon's confused because he looks around and he's like, he feels alone. He certainly doesn't feel like a warrior. His clan was the weakest in the land, and he's the youngest son of his family. What was this angel going on about? He wasn't strong or fast or big or a warrior. Come on. Still, the angel of the Lord said, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel. I am sending you." Do you think Gideon believed what he was seeing right there? I mean, God believed in him, little Gideon. But let's take a step and unpack that further a little bit here. The angel said, "I am with you." God was with him right there, and God believed in Gideon. And he chose the smallest kid from the weakest family to do this. And God knew that when the people of Israel saw that Gideon, the youngest of the least of them, could do it, they would understand that God had done it. And the angel of the Lord even said something like, "I'll be by your side, and you'll defeat them single-handedly." Now let's be clear, it still took some convincing, like actually a lot of convincing, because Gideon still didn't understand why he was the chosen one. But he did what he was told, and pretty soon Gideon was fully on board, and he understood that God was with him, and he would help him, no matter how weak or small he may seem. So remember how Gideon gathers 40,000 men to fight the Midianite army, right? 40,000 was impressive, but way too small to really be sure to win the battle. Still, God knew that if they used that many soldiers to win, and they would win because God was with them, they would just say that they did it. So, he had Gideon send soldiers away until there were only 300 left. 300 against so many Midianites that you couldn't even count the camels they had brought with them. There were so many. But God was with Gideon and those 300 soldiers, and they defeated the Midianites, and the land was reclaimed. That huge victory with such a tiny force meant that everyone knew that it was God who helped them, and that God deserved the praise. And God sees the might in you too. You may question your worth. You may have doubts, but know that God is with you, and that if the smallest farmer from the least important family can defeat a mighty army, you can overcome big things too, with God beside you. You can do hard things, okay? Okay. Bye, kids. I'll see you again soon.